Chapter 8. In the Hall of the King. When we entered Jerusalem at noon, we saw stone buildings in the colors of sunset, white, pink, and yellow. As we passed through the public squares and markets, we listened to the voices of the Jewish people chanting, praying, and talking. Many were there fulfilling their holy duties as Jews, bringing their offerings to the temple. Some brought turtle doves, others brought sheep, goats, and even bulls. The people approached the temple with reverence, and the priests received the people's offerings. I was glad to see mice were not included in the list of possible candidates for the sacrifices. King Melchior said, "Let us go directly to King Herod to see what we can find out." We entered the upper section of the city with its elegant dwellings surrounded by tall stone walls. Up on the hill ahead lay King Herod's impressive marble palace. King Melchior admired the palace from atop Betsy. "What a magnificent structure," he said. "King Herod is a very powerful man who wants everybody to know about the wealth and strength of Rome." Herod seemed to know about our survival. Spies must have informed him about the attack of Reuben and his gang against our caravan. At the palace, we were welcomed by the king's guards, who greeted the three kings and opened the grand gates for us. "Welcome to Jerusalem," said the leader. "King Herod, ruler of Judea, welcomes you in the name of Emperor Caesar Augustus." "Thank you," said Melchior, Caspar, and Balthazar. Our caravan followed the guards into the palace grounds. "The king is in his throne room," the guard said. "We will take your animals to the king's corrals. We will feed them and watch over them. King Herod hates animals, except for Rufus's cat. No animals are allowed in the palace." Princess Paasha was not happy to hear we were to be separated from the kings. She whispered in my ear, "Roopert, jump up and hide in King Melchior's pocket. I must go to the corrals, but you can hide and stay with the kings. Beware of the cat." Indeed, I had no wish to encounter this fierce beast, but I was proud I had a job to do for the Princess Paasha. I asked God to make me brave and jumped up and hid in King Melchior's right pocket. Fortunately, he always carries a handkerchief there that covered me completely. I was delighted to find Princess Paasha's treats in there too. The guards led us to the great hall where King Herod always welcomed people of importance. The king seemed pleased to meet the three kings of the East. But then his face looked serious as he asked, "And what is the purpose of your journey to our land?" King Melchior said, "We three kings are traveling together, following a star, searching for the promised Messiah that, according to the scriptures, has been born in Israel. Do you have any information about this?" "Oh, I am sorry. I have not heard anything about him." His eyes narrowed as he said, "But I would love to hear from you everything you may know. If this is true, I want to go and worship him too." I did not like the dark look in King Herod's eyes. I hoped King Melchior would remember Reuben telling us how King Herod hated the people of Israel. What if Herod hated the new baby king too? "I am sure you are tired and hungry. Let us speak of these things later. Why don't you have a rest? My servants are preparing a special banquet for you," said Herod. I wondered what my friends in the corrals were doing. As King Melchior turned to follow a servant to a place where he could rest, I jumped out of the king's pocket and ran outside. I don't think King Melchior even knew I was there. It was dark by then, but Princess Paasha saw me coming. She signaled me, and I climbed onto her neck. Queen Betsy rocked us in her trunk, and we all closed our eyes and tried to sleep. Equinus and Camilla were so tired that they snuggled together with their bodies close and were asleep as soon as they lay down. With Queen Betsy rocking us gently, I was nearly asleep myself when I heard Herod's horses and camels speaking softly to each other. In the dark, they didn't notice we were awake and listening. "Prepare yourselves," said Malum, the chief horse, a regal mount. King Herod is angry. He has heard news of a newborn king and feels threatened. Once he learns the location of this child from his wise visitors, we are to go and do away with any young babes there. He won't let any Jewish king take away his throne." "Oh no, this is terrible," whispered Paasha. "Shh, they will hear you," I whispered back in my quietest mouse voice. My heart was beating so fast. "King Herod wants to kill the baby king. He wants to have the three kings give him the information he needs to do this terrible deed. We need to stop it, but what can we do?" "You must warn King Melchior," Queen Betsy said. Princess Paasha whispered, "Jump on my back," and the two of us left quietly, so Herod's animals would not hear us. Princess Paasha found a way to open the bar on the gate with her nose, and we snuck out of the corral to look for King Melchior. Princess Paasha ran like lightning. "Where, oh where is King Melchior? We must find him," she whimpered. "I can't go into the palace, but you can. No one will notice the little mouse sneaking in very quietly." Paasha dropped me off as close as she could with instructions to see what I could find out. As I peeked around the corner of a massive purple curtain behind the tables in the banquet hall, I saw King Herod bellowing at the three kings. "Do you know where that band of thieves is now? They are rebels against the Roman Empire. We have been trying to catch them for a long time. They are warriors and robbers. I heard they attacked your caravan. Did you catch any of them?" King Caspar answered, "No, we didn't. They wanted to steal the offerings we are bringing for the Messiah, but they did not succeed." King Herod's face grew red, and he pressed for more information. "It is too bad you didn't capture any of them," he said. "There is a very large reward for anyone who can give me any information that helps me catch them alive." I shivered and wondered what the king would do to the rebels if he caught them. In the meantime, Princess Paasha had sneaked inside through the open kitchen door, and she had followed the sound of voices, and King Melchior sent to the great hall. As she tried to enter, one of the guards spotted her and started chasing her while waving his great sword. "No dogs allowed," he yelled as the other guards joined the chase. As she ran, Princess Paasha started calling for King Melchior. "Help me, please, my king, I must speak to you." Just then I poked my head out too far from under the curtain, and one of the servants spotted me. Frightened, I started running to find a place to hide. I had not forgotten about Rufus the cat. In the middle of all the commotion, King Herod yelled to the guards, "What is all this racket? Why are you interrupting my dinner? You will pay with your life for this interruption." "We are chasing a dog and a mouse in the hall, your majesty," said the guard. "A dog?" said Herod. "I hate dogs. A dog bit me when I was young. And a mouse? They are disgusting. Bring the royal cat to take care of the mouse, and take the dog out of here at once and kill it." Just then King Melchior burst in. No, wait. I apologize for this interruption. I don't know about the mouse, but this dog is the Princess Paasha. She is one of the most honorable and wisest subjects in my kingdom. We would not be able to continue this trip without her. I beg of you to forgive this intrusion and let her sit at my feet. I assure you that she won't bite or cause any problems." As the king spoke, I climbed up his chair and slipped into his pocket. I stayed very quiet, shaking with fear, but Melchior seemed not to know I was there. With all the running and yelling in the hall, I didn't think anyone had seen me hide there, but when I peeked out, I almost fainted. The fiercest looking cat I had ever seen was padding softly across the room. He tried to climb onto King Melchior's lap, but kept his distance when Princess Paasha growled softly but firmly and showed him her sharp white teeth. King Herod seemed terrified of both Paasha and the rumors of me, a mouse on the loose, and jumped up on the table. He shouted, "Can't you see the terrible effect this has on me? Where is that wretched mouse?" The guard answered, "I don't know, your majesty. Perhaps Rufus the cat got him." I shuddered in my hideout in King Melchior's pocket. "I am so sorry about all this," said Melchior. Yes, chimed in King Caspar and King Balthazar. Please forgive us, King Herod. We never intended to upset you. We will bid you good night now. Herod had seemed surprised to hear Melchior's apology in defense of Princess Paasha. Now he looked at Melchior as if he were completely crazy. Barely disguising his anger, he smiled and said, No, no, please don't go. Let me enjoy your company for a few more minutes. Finish your food and drink your wine. Where were we when we were so abruptly interrupted? I peeked out from my perch in King Melchior's pocket and could see by the look on his face that King Herod had something on his mind. He looked at the three kings intently and asked, And where is this new king of the Jews you are looking for? Stroking his chin, he asked, And how old is this child? We are following the directions given in the scriptures by the prophet Micah regarding the Messiah's birth in Bethlehem, said King Balthazar. But we don't know the exact location, nor how old he is, said King Caspar. Princess Paasha began barking and running around the table, tugging at King Herod's robe and causing an enormous ruckus. King Melchior must have realized Paasha had something important to tell him with all that barking. I wanted to jump out of King Melchior's pocket to help Paasha, but I refrained myself because Rufus the cat was still in the room staring in my direction. Your dog is a terrible nuisance, my dear Melchior, said King Herod, in a voice that did not sound at all friendly. Then Princess Paasha whispered to Melchior, My king, we have terrible news. Herod is planning to murder the king of the Jews. I heard it from the animals in the corrals. Please don't tell him anything more. This got King Melchior's attention. He turned to his friends and said, Come, everyone. We must not take any more of King Herod's precious time. Tomorrow we continue our journey. We will leave at the break of dawn. I breathed a big sigh of relief as I desperately wanted to get away from that cat. Phew! As we were leaving, King Herod put on a friendly face and seemed full of concern for the new king. As he bade us farewell, he said, Go and search carefully for the young child, and when you have found him, bring back word to me that I may come and worship him also. Oh, what a liar, said Princess Paasha as she growled quietly at him. He is nothing but a murderer. Let's get out of here before the cat returns, I whispered to Paasha. Yes, King Herod, Balthazar was saying, make sure you wait for our return. After goodbyes were said, the kings excused themselves and left for their rooms. From my hiding spot in Melchior's pocket, my sharp mousy ears heard King Herod say, Rats! The kings know more than they are saying. That stupid dog interrupted just when they were ready to give me the information I need. A guard said, They mentioned Bethlehem. Exactly, we shall go there and find the babe. Bethlehem is such a small village that finding him will not be hard at all. If I can't find the one child who they say will be king, I will get rid of them all. The kings gathered in Caspar's room to talk about their plan for the morning. Caspar said, We need to get away from King Herod. Let us be away by sunrise. The child king's parents need to be warned about the danger from Herod. Balthazar said, I have an idea to delay King Herod, said Princess Paasha, excitedly jumping about. We can open the gates of his stables. Camelo can lead all the camels out of their stalls, and Equinus can do the same with the horses. With Herod's men rounding up the animals, it will give us time to get ahead. I was very excited to hear Princess Paasha's great idea, but worried that Herod would still catch us. King Melchior translated Paasha's words. He said, Grand idea, Paasha. Let's do it now, while the guards are busy looking for the mouse. By the way, that little mouse was incredibly useful. Then turning back to Princess Paasha, he said, And Princess Paasha, let's you and I have a small conversation about him when we get back. Yes, my king, she said, batting her long black eyelashes and whimpering softly. Uh-oh. I knew Princess Paasha would only tell the truth. Should I confess to keep my dear friend from getting into trouble? I was worried, but also pleased King Melchior thought I had been useful. I stayed in the king's pocket until we got to the corrals, where I hid again under Betsy's saddle. King Melchior opened all the corrals corral gates himself. When Equinus and Camillo heard about Herod's plan, they helped by leading all the other horses and camels outside until the stables were empty. "We are free!" the animals shouted as they escaped. "Finally free!" As the caravan of the three kings left the palace grounds, we were all thinking of the baby king. "Why would Herod want to kill the king of the Jews?" asked Queen Betsy. "He feels threatened by him," explained Melchior. "He doesn't know it, but the new king is the Christ foretold in the scriptures. He is the promised king and Messiah. He is the Son of God." "Herod is an invader," added King Caspar. "He is afraid of losing his power and influence and will do anything to eliminate any threats. We never intended to risk the baby's life by talking to King Herod. We must warn the boy's parents about this and make plans to return by another route." As we left Jerusalem to continue our journey, we all prayed that God would protect the young Messiah from the terrible threats of Herod. And there they are, leaving Jerusalem in the middle of the night to escape King Herod.